are not going to allow the ADC coalition to just fly without challenge. So when we saw the report yesterday that there's a court order restraining the INEC and the leadership of the ADC from performing their roles, we found it a bit curious in the sense that even as a layman, we know that you give injunction to something that has not happened. You don't give injunction to something that has already happened. So INEC has already acted and recognized the leadership. So you can't give injunction to something that's already happened. So we found it quite curious. And then we requested for the document, the actual ruling. Then we found that there was actually no such thing. Now, that leads us to the logical question. So what was the motive of the people that were spreading this disinformation and misleading the public? But, you know, again, you cannot hide, because we saw the people spreading these stories, and we saw them, and there are people who are directly connected to people within the government circle. So we know it's the continuation of the same agents of destabilization that have been working so hard to ensure that Nigeria is dragged down to a one-party state. So luckily for us, unfortunately for us, what the ruling was very clear. The prayers that was put before the court was outrightly rejected, and the only thing here that has implication for us is that we should be put on notice and that we should make an appearance on September 15. So for us, we think that the decision that brought about the new leadership was taken at the 99th NEC meeting of the party that was observed by the Independent Electoral Commission as required by the process, by the rules. And some of you were there. The decision to bring in the new leadership was unanimously carried. So what you find is a situation where a small number of minority, one or two people, are going behind to begin to say they object to what has been done, even though they could not stop the NEC from taking that decision. So it's a curious situation that the minority, the same minority will now seek to go to court and use the court to overturn the decision that the party has taken. And don't forget, the question of leadership of a party has been settled by the Supreme Court. The leadership of a party and the candidate of a party is entirely the business and the decision of the party. That's the Supreme Court position. So whatever they are doing is not going to hold water. It's doomed to fail. We just didn't expect that they would go as low as dragging the reputation of the judiciary into their political fight. Because if we didn't see the ruling and we acted on the assumption that the court actually granted them their wish, it will have reflected badly on the judiciary, because the Federal High Court will have acted in error to grant the kind of request that they are making. So I'm just saying that for us, we are not bothered about it. We expect more of this. It shows the desperation of the people that are behind all this. So we as the African Democratic Congress, we are not going to be bothered by this. We've taken our decisions. We've moved on. We are focused now on just building our party. Thank you very much. Well, ordinarily, I wouldn't react to maybe. I will not react to him, but I don't want to show disrespect to you. Since you've asked me, I will respond to your question. Number one, he has no business in this conversation. He's not even a member of the African Democratic Congress. That is very clear. Number two, a one-time presidential candidate or any candidate of a party does not own the party, does not have a say in the direction the party goes. You were given the ticket of the party to run a particular election. That does not make you a permanent candidate of the party and does not arrogate to you the power of the leadership of the party, not of the NWC, not of the neck of the party. So you wonder what is the basis for what this individual is doing. That's number one. Number two, you see, we need to be very careful. There are some narrative that you find people use in the public space that is disturbing. When you begin to castigate people on the account of their age, when does it become a crime to be an older person? These are things that people get arrested for in civilized societies, to profile people in a way that shows that you are excluding them for one reason or the other from their democratic rights. So he keeps saying old people, old people. Is it a crime to be an older person? That's number one. Number two, he's talking about recycled politicians. Who politician in this country is not recycled? Mention one politician in this country that has not been to one party or the other, or have not held one position or the other. And are we going to manufacture a new political class overnight? It's the same recycled people that will do politics in Nigeria. And we're not going to bring foreigners to play politics in Nigeria. So by the time I've listened to his rhetoric, and like I said, it's wrong, it's divisive, it's inflammatory, and it should be condemned. Because he keeps saying north, south, these northerners. Who talks like that? And there is someone who, no matter how ridiculous, aspired to be a president of Nigeria and is promoting such divisive and rhetoric. It's quite unfortunate. I'm not going to say anything more than that. Thank you. Absolutely. I mean, we are politicians. And in politics, only a few doors are permanently closed. And we also know that we are playing a game of number. And that number is addition, not subtraction. So we'll be happy to talk to anyone who is willing to talk. Anyone that has, we have people, even those within the leadership, the rank of the leadership that voluntarily resigned their position. We had people who had expressed one grievances or another, and we have managed those, recognized their grievances, legitimate grievances, and we have dealt with those. But when people are just being belligerent, to the extent that you have no reason to doubt that they had ulterior motive, which is to destabilize the party and filibuster and create a condition that make it difficult for the party to move forward, then we can't continue to appease those kind of people. Till tomorrow, if whoever is willing to sit down to have conversation, to say, look, this is my grievance, or these are my grievances, and I will be happy for it to be addressed. I can assure you that those grievances will be addressed to the extent that they could be accommodated. But if what you are doing is to continue to drag the party back, to continue to create a condition that Nigerians would think that we are permanently in crisis, don't forget this was the same thing that was done to PDP. This was the same thing that was done to Labour Party. This was the same thing that was done to SDP. And the same agents that were driving this, the same forces that were driving this, that are also driving these particular individuals. The person that went to court, with due respect, I'm very confident that I know him. I'm very confident that he doesn't have the resources to push this. So who is funding it? Who is encouraging him? You know, so if they are willing to talk, we are willing to talk to them. But if what they want to do is to continue to do this thing that they are doing, we'll move on and we'll be willing to match them for whatever it's worth. You know, we started by saying that this administration of APC, the current APC administration, is the most divisive in Nigerian history. And that is epitomized by the unprecedented level of nepotism that you have seen. If you take a roll call of appointments that the current administrations have made and attach their positions to it, we don't need to add anything. It will be clear to you that they have engaged in a government that recognizes only a small circle of cronies and friends to operate with them. Now, having said that, in reaction to this accusation of, it was in reaction to the accusation of the government favoring a particular part of the country and ignoring a particular part of the country that the government decided to publish what they will call the facts that they hope will disprove the allegation that they have been biased against a particular part of the country. But what they ended up doing by releasing that information is confirming the allegation. Because when you see situations where projects that belong to one geopolitical zone is being listed as part of the projects executed in another political zone, and you see projects repeated, double entry for some projects, then some project exaggerated, a 34-kilometer road listed as 130-something kilometer road, then you begin to ask yourself, is it somebody trying to be creative with statistics, trying to doctor statistics to make it fit the narrative of equity and balance? Or is this sheer incompetence? Either way you look at it, it doesn't exonerate the government. So what we are saying is that we will choose to say that they are competent. They are competent in trying to create statistics that will suit the propaganda they try to push. And that was why we said what we said. That the government is in its panic mode, ended up confirming rather than denying the allegation of sectionalism and bias. You said we've been critical of the ruling party. That's our work. That's what opposition parties do, and that's what they hate most, because they want to create a condition where no one will ask questions, where no one will shine the light on what they are doing, and that is our work as opposition parties. Now, having said that, the question of whether 4 years is enough, yes, we've seen people who have recorded sterling achievements within 4 years. The writers of our Constitution allowed for a second term for a reason, believing that when you start something in your first tenure, you can continue it in your second tenure if the people are satisfied with the direction that you are going, then they can give you another opportunity for another 4 years and no more. But the question is, what direction is this government taking Nigerians? What direction are they taking Nigeria? Look, I'll paint a picture for you. This is a government that removed fuel subsidy from day one. And I'm not debating whether subsidy is the right thing to do or not to do. What I'm saying is that removal of fuel subsidy has brought untoward hardship to Nigerians. So Nigerians are going to suffer as a result of your removal of fuel subsidy. Then you add to that, without providing any mitigating intervention that will cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal on the people, what did you do? You added the valuation of the naira. That further eroded the purchasing power of the people. So it means that those who were earning 30,000 naira or 35,000 naira minimum wage now were no longer able to use their 35,000 naira for what they were using it for, right? Now, by the global standard, the extreme poverty line is now $2.50 per day. If you convert that with the devalued, if you convert that to the devalued naira, that gives you like 93,000 naira or 94,000 naira thereabout. So it means that even if you pay 70,000 naira minimum wage, majority of Nigerians will still be below the extreme poverty line. Now, you didn't stop there. You now said everybody will now, from January next year, you suddenly realize that there is a law that allows you to charge 5% petrol tax from January next year. So it means that even with your 35,000 naira or 70,000 naira, if you buy petrol, as a organizer running your small business in your corner, if you buy petrol, you pay 5% on every single liter of petrol that you buy. Then you didn't stop there. You're now adding, I read this morning, another 5% on aviation tax, which means that for you to fly in Nigeria, flight ticket is already being priced beyond the reach of the average middle class person who want to do business and fly from Lagos to Abuja. Now, when you add 5% aviation tax, so it means that the airlines will now pass on, because it's VAT, they said, will now pass on the cost to the passengers. Now, what exactly did we vote this government to do? To kill us? No, because there is something punitive about what they are doing. So when you are telling me 4 years, to give them another 4 years to push us to the lagoon, so I don't know. So it leads you to ask yourself, who exactly is running this country? Are these Nigerians? Are these Nigerians who walk on the street and see what Nigerians are going through? So regardless of the technical correctness of your policies, if it's going to break the back of your citizens, what do? You said no. You say no. But what they are doing is doubling down and telling us that it is the right thing to do, that they have to take tough economic measures to stabilize the economy, that people have to make sacrifices. And we ask question number one, can you tell us where all this is leading us? Even we Muslims, when they tell us to fast as Muslims, they say you break your fast at 7 p.m. in the evening after Maghrib. So when are we really going to end this? Then even God that asked us to fast in his, to him promised us reward. That when we die, we'll go to heaven, right? What is this government promising us as a result of this suffering? What are they telling us that we'll get at the end of the day? We don't know. They just say continue to suffer. Continue to suffer. It's going to be tough. Meanwhile, while they are telling us to suffer, they are living the life of obscene opulence. Their convoys keep getting longer. They keep spending money on unbelievably white elephant projects. And they are telling Nigerians, if a father is telling his son, sorry, I can't pay your school fees because you are suffering, because we don't have money, then you come tomorrow, I see you park a brand new car in the compound, and you are saying you can't pay my school fees. I begin to answer whether this father actually cares about me. So it's not about whether 4 years is enough. It's about we don't know the direction this government is taking us. So it's not a question of whether President Tinubu is a good driver of the economy or a bad driver of the economy. The problem is that we don't know where this driver is taking us. We don't even know who the driver is. So that is that about the issue of 4 years, 8 years, and all that. The question about whether Excellency Peter Obi said he's going to spend only 4 years if given the opportunity, he must know why he's saying so. He must be confident in his ability to deliver. It's a lifelong ambition for him. So he must have done his work and be clear that within 4 years, I can. And you see, when the framers of our constitution say 8 years, they didn't say 8 years concurrent. It means that you can do 4 years and take a break and give yourself opportunity to evaluate what you have done and come back in the future. So I don't see anything untoward in what he said. That's number two. Number three, what is clear to us is that whether it's Alhaji Atiku Abubakar or anybody else you've mentioned are members of the ADC. Like thousands of other members of the ADC across the country. Now we have crossed a major hurdle. Now, His Excellency David Mark and Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola can now legitimately sign membership cards. And we can now issue those membership cards. Because what is holding majority of the people across the country is that we cannot issue membership cards. So you can now see people going back to their respective wards and registering. Now, the question of whether we don't have structure, you see, sometimes when we say structure, we politicians understand structure to mean only one thing. How many people can you bring out? I said it when I went to my ward. I can show you videos when we finish this. When I went to the last time I was in Kwara, I went to my ward meeting, ADC ward meeting. I didn't tell them I was coming. I just went there. By the time I wrote my name on the attendance register, I was number 74. By the time I left, all the years that I have been in politics in other parties, I had never attended a ward meeting that had more than 30, 40 people. And I can show you videos all across. All across. I'm sure you've seen a video of one governor that went to a part of his state and people welcome him with the chant of ADC. So what we're saying is that sometimes we think of structure in terms, it's about the people. And that's why we keep saying that this coalition is about the people who have rejected the direction that this APC government is taking the country. And you will see, the coalition is much bigger than the ADC. I've repeatedly maintained this. There are so many people you will see will come forward as we move closer to 2027 who are there now waiting, right? So in addition to that, we will talk about by-election. The by-election happened less than just barely a month after we went into ADC, so we didn't even know the candidates. You know, so for us, we repeatedly maintain we don't want to be judged by the outcome of the by-election. Let our opponent, let the ruling party continue to think that the by-election is a measure of where we are. They will be shocked. In the last in last 3 months, have you ever had the name, what's the name again? Now, have you ever had the name Nafi? Have you ever seen this guy? Have you seen him? Do you know who he is? Suddenly, we have turned him to a household name. We have turned him to a household name. You see people like yourself, quoting, you understand, a nephew. One guy that was just, no, okay. So I'm just saying that, I'm not saying that, you even when you listen to him speak English, you wonder, did this guy, but we have turned him to a national star. People now say, what about you people, how are you going to deal with Nafi Bala is now? So we ended up giving spaces to people, so we turned a village bully to a world boxing champion. So it's, so I just want to plead with us, sometimes we need to just be, exercise discretion. I know sometimes crisis is good for the headlines, but when you say, a faction of ADC, which faction? Which faction? So that's the point I'm making. So it's funny. So please, I just want to plead with us that we should be circumspect with some of these things. I know some of these people go behind your back. I know some of these people go behind your back to go to Lagos, to go to your headquarters and sneak stories in, and even you yourself will look at it and say, how? So I know. We know that game. So, but I just, but we'll be fine. Thank you very much. God bless. A national party has a deputy national secretary. It means that if for any reason Aregbesola is not able to act, this is the person that will act. A young lady in her early 30s holding such an important position. It has never happened in the history of Nigeria.
Unprecedented.
It's unprecedented, right? History. So it's deliberate. It's when we say our party is out to groom the successor generation of Nigerian politicians. It's not just rhetoric. It's something we are deliberately doing, putting young people in sensitive positions and trusting them to act on behalf of the party. There are so many of them. The Deputy National Secretary or the National Public Secretary, Jackie Wires, is also a young lady. All of them below 35. And they will be sitting in the NWC where the decision of the party will be taken. They have a voice, they have a seat in the room. And another dimension is that in the past when you see a woman in the I was in the NWC of the APC. The only woman was a woman leader. Now we have several women in the NWC that are not women leaders. It shows the direction that our party is going. And that's why we say what we are doing in the ADC is to build a strong political party, that a real political party, not just a special purpose vehicle for winning election or for someone to realize their ambition.